The global economy is on edge, with investors and policymakers alike holding their breath as tensions mount between the world's two largest economies. The trade war between the United States and China is intensifying, sending shockwaves through international markets and disrupting established trade routes. What began as a series of tit-for-tat tariffs has escalated into a full-blown trade conflict, with each side determined to outmaneuver the other. The tensions are high, and the stakes are even higher, as leaders from both nations dig in their heels and refuse to back down. This trade war has far-reaching implications for businesses and consumers around the world, affecting everything from the price of everyday goods to the stability of global supply chains. The Trump administration argues that China engages in unfair trade practices, claiming that these actions have hurt American workers and industries for years. They accuse China of stealing intellectual property, forcing technology transfers, and manipulating its currency to gain an unfair advantage in global markets. To pressure China into changing its ways, the U.S. has imposed hefty tariffs on billions of dollars worth of Chinese goods, targeting everything from electronics to clothing. China denies these allegations and maintains that it is committed to free trade, insisting that it is being unfairly targeted by U.S. policies. In response to the U.S. tariffs, China has imposed its own tariffs on American products, hitting key sectors like agriculture and manufacturing. This back-and-forth exchange of tariffs has created uncertainty in the global market, making it difficult for companies to plan for the future. The trade war has already had a significant impact on both economies, leading to factory closures, job losses, and declining business confidence. Businesses are facing higher costs as tariffs drive up the price of raw materials and components, and consumers are seeing rising prices at the checkout, forcing many families to tighten their budgets. The International Monetary Fund, or IMF, has warned that the trade war could have a devastating impact on the global economy, potentially slowing growth and increasing the risk of a worldwide recession. As the trade war between the U.S. and China escalates, tensions are running higher than ever before. The world is watching closely as two of the largest economies on the planet engage in a high-stakes standoff, with ripple effects being felt across global markets and international relations. Beijing is sending a clear message to the rest of the world: don't take sides. China wants other nations to resist being drawn into the conflict, urging them to act independently and not be swayed by outside pressure. China's Commerce Ministry issued a stern warning to other countries, cautioning them against bowing to U.S. pressure. The statement was direct, emphasizing that countries should not allow themselves to be manipulated or coerced into making decisions that go against their own interests. The message came after reports surfaced that the Trump administration was pressuring its allies to limit their trade with China. This pressure campaign has created uncertainty and anxiety among many of America's traditional partners. These tactics are seen as an attempt to isolate China economically and force it to make concessions in trade negotiations. The U.S. hopes that by rallying its allies, it can strengthen its bargaining position and extract more favorable terms. China's Commerce Ministry spokesperson stated that appeasement does not bring peace, and compromise does not earn respect. Instead, China insists that standing firm and defending national interests is the only way to earn true respect on the world stage. This strong statement reflects China's growing frustration with the U.S.'s unilateral approach to trade. The ongoing disputes have led to a hardening of positions on both sides, making compromise increasingly difficult. The spokesperson further warned that China would take reciprocal countermeasures against any country that makes deals with the U.S. at China's expense. This is a clear signal that China is prepared to defend its interests, no matter the cost. This warning underscores the high stakes involved in the trade war and the potential for further escalation. As the situation develops, the world will be watching to see how countries respond to the mounting pressure and what choices they ultimately make. While the U.S. ratchets up pressure on China, tensions between the two superpowers continue to shape the global landscape. The world is watching closely as both nations vie for influence, especially in regions of strategic importance. Against this backdrop, President Xi Jinping has embarked on a carefully planned and strategic tour of Southeast Asia, signaling China's intent to deepen its regional partnerships. This high-profile trip is widely seen as an effort to strengthen ties with key countries in the region and counter the growing influence of the United States. During his visits to Vietnam, Malaysia, and Cambodia, President Xi emphasized China's commitment to free trade, open cooperation, and mutual development. He highlighted the importance of building trust and fostering long-term partnerships. At every stop, he presented China as a reliable and trustworthy partner, offering an alternative to the U.S.'s increasingly protectionist policies and promising stability in uncertain times. President Xi's tour yielded several significant agreements, ranging from economic cooperation to cultural exchange initiatives. China signed deals for major infrastructure projects, expanded trade agreements, and new cultural exchanges, further cementing its presence in the region. These agreements not only demonstrate China's growing economic clout, but also its willingness to invest heavily in Southeast Asia's future and development. The timing of Xi's trip is no coincidence. It comes at a moment when regional alliances are shifting and global power dynamics are in flux. It comes as the U.S. is trying to rally support for its tough stance on China, urging its allies to take a firmer position. By engaging directly with Southeast Asian leaders, President Xi aims to present China as a viable and attractive alternative to the U.S., hoping to build bridges that will shape the region's future for years to come. In a move that further escalated the trade war, the Trump administration announced a significant increase in tariffs on Chinese goods. The tariffs, which now affect a wide range of products, are designed to pressure China into making concessions in trade negotiations. The U.S. argues that these tariffs are necessary to protect American jobs and businesses. They accuse China of unfair trade practices, such as intellectual property theft and forced technology transfer. The tariff hikes have been met with strong condemnation from businesses in both the U.S. and China. They argue that the tariffs will raise costs for businesses and consumers and could ultimately lead to job losses. Despite the criticism, the Trump administration has shown no signs of backing down. They have threatened to impose even more tariffs if China does not agree to their demands. China wasted no time in responding to the U.S. tariff hikes. Beijing announced retaliatory tariffs on a range of American goods, further escalating the trade war. These tariffs are designed to inflict economic pain on U.S. businesses and pressure the Trump administration into reconsidering its approach. In addition to the tariffs, China has taken other measures to retaliate against the U.S. They have delayed approvals for U.S. companies operating in China, increased inspections of American goods, and allowed the value of their currency to weaken. China is also leveraging its economic influence to build relationships with other countries. They're seeking new markets for their goods and reducing their reliance on the U.S. economy. China's multi-pronged response demonstrates that they are prepared for a protracted trade war. They are willing to endure short-term economic pain to protect their long-term interests. As the trade war between the United States and China drags on, other countries are increasingly finding themselves caught in the crossfire. These countries are facing pressure from both sides to take sides, putting them in a difficult position. Many countries rely heavily on trade with both the United States and China. Taking sides in the trade war could jeopardize their economic interests. They fear that aligning with one side could result in retaliation from the other. There are also concerns about the potential for the trade war to escalate into a broader conflict. Some experts worry that the economic tensions could spill over into other areas, such as security and diplomacy. The trade war is creating uncertainty in the global economy. Businesses are hesitant to make investments, and consumers are holding back on spending. This uncertainty is weighing on global growth. Elizabeth Economy, an expert on United States-China relations at the Hoover Institution, offers valuable insights into the complexities of the trade war and its global implications. She notes that many countries are hesitant to fully align themselves with either the United States or China. Economy points out that while China offers attractive economic opportunities, many countries have significant export markets in the United States. Alienating the United States could have severe consequences for their economies. This delicate balance makes it difficult for them to pick sides. Furthermore, economy highlights that China's assertive military posture in the region undermines its economic charm offensive. While China presents itself as a partner, its actions in disputed territories raise concerns among its neighbors. This combination of economic enticements and military assertiveness creates a complex dilemma for countries caught in the middle. The ongoing trade war between the United States and China has far-reaching consequences that extend beyond the economic realm. This conflict has the potential to reshape the global order and redefine the rules of international trade. The trade war has fueled tensions between the world's two largest economies, creating an atmosphere of mistrust and uncertainty. This tension could spill over into other areas of disagreement, leading to further instability. Moreover, the trade war threatens the multilateral trading system that has underpinned global prosperity for decades. The rules-based order is being undermined as both sides resort to protectionist measures. The outcome of this trade war will have profound implications for the future. It will determine whether the global economy moves towards greater cooperation or fragmentation. The United States-China trade war is a defining moment for the global economy. The outcome of this conflict will have lasting consequences for businesses, consumers, and the international order. As tensions escalate and retaliatory measures multiply, the world watches with bated breath. The trade war underscores the interconnectedness of the global economy. It highlights the need for cooperation and dialogue to address trade disputes. Unilateral actions and protectionist policies threaten to unravel the fabric of global trade with potentially dire consequences. The international community must urge both the United States and China to find a peaceful resolution to this conflict. The stakes are simply too high to allow this trade war to continue unchecked. The future of the global economy hangs in the balance.